morning after the night before. Is that right? Yeah. I'm still not impressed with what I saw. Have I calmed down a little bit? Yeah. I mean, that's it. Guilty as charged. I guess I get annoyed when we lose football matches. That's just how it is. When we win, I get really excited as well. I just think that's the standard. I assume most people are like that, right? So I'm not going to apologise for being annoyed. After all, it wasn't too long ago that I did a video on this channel and said, look, I've been holding back a little bit. I've been holding back. I've been over-explaining myself, doing too many disclaimers, doing caveats and all the rest of it. And the vast majority of people said, no, mate, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Say what you think. That's what I did last night. And there you go. That's what you've got. However, I've copped... It's not abuse as such. There's been an accusation levelled against, not just me, West Ham YouTubers. The defeat against Wolves was our fault. There's people saying it literally on the comments and on social media, that defeat was your fault, Gonzo. That was my fault. The defeat was my fault. Because, here's the accusation, or here's the thought process as I understand it, that Graham Potter was under so much pressure to create an attacking team, to pick players that he didn't want to pick, that he put out this attacking team, which went against his ethos, I guess, his mantra, went against his footballing beliefs, and because of that, West Ham lost. That was it. He listened to YouTubers, he put out that team, and that's why we lost to Wolves. Obviously, I think that's a load of old nonsense, but I will try and defend my position. I just don't think for a moment that a manager would listen to. I don't understand it. It doesn't marry up with the stubborn coaching philosophy that I see. It doesn't. This is not a man that shifts his footballing philosophy. Let's just get one thing right. Yesterday, he played one more attacker than he has been playing. One more. That's it. We didn't suddenly go gung-ho and open up the floodgates and chuck everyone forward. We had one shot. It's not like you can actually say, oh, by the way, we went attacking, he threw his principles out the window, and because of that, we got loads of shots and we shipped loads of goals. That wasn't what happened. He put one more attacking player in. One more. And I'm not going to apologise for wanting that attacking player put in. The attacking player was, of course, Evan Ferguson. I'm not sure how he's got away for so long without putting Evan Ferguson in. Now we have a look and we see him, we think, OK, that's why he hasn't played him. But that's not on me. That's on him. He's the one that pushed to sign him. Even if that is true, it means he's going to sign someone that's not suitable and really pushed for it. Anyway, to suggest that we had that Potter suddenly last night, because he was stung by criticism online and he changed his tactics are nonsense. They were the same tactics. The same tactics. We still only had one shot on target. He might have played one more attacker. He might have played the striker. Still didn't go for it. Still, at the start of that game, we were passing it round at the back. Cresswell to Areola, to Kilman, to Mavropanos, back to Areola, carrying on doing it, inviting the press until we get more and more penned in. I said to Gio this morning, it was like a game of Tetris. When you start on the Tetris and the blocks take a long time to fall, we've got that L-shaped one. We turn that round, pop that in, and then eventually it gets quicker. And it's going like that. That's what we were doing. Passed it round at the back until it got absolutely ridiculous and we hoofed it up. That was our tactic. There was no metamorphosis from Potter's usual to something different. That was what he's been doing. And if honestly we're saying, hold on, by playing attacking players, he betrayed his natural instincts, does that mean his natural instincts are just really, really boring and really safe? If that's the case, we've got a problem anyway. No, look, that defeat was on Graham Potter. He played exactly the same as he has been playing. The nature of the starting lineup might have been different, but he's done loads of different starting lineups. They all play like that. I think it was after 8 or 9 games the stat was put up, not by me, by Sky Sports. They're probably to blame as well. The Sky Sports put up that West Ham have been having less shots than anyone else in the Premier League and less shots than anyone else on target than anyone else in the Premier League. Since then, it's not like if he honestly paid any attention to criticism, wouldn't he up that? He has not done. He's not done. He's not changed the way he played, and he's not changed. If anything, we have lessened the amount of shots we've had. We are still, 3 games later after that statistic was brought out, the worst in the Premier League. We're lucky. We are lucky at the moment that we've already got some points on the board. And unfortunately for Potter, he's come in as a replacement for someone that was sacked in Lopetegui, and he's getting less points than Lopetegui. Why shouldn't he be criticised? I don't understand it. People beg to give him time. Give him time. But he's getting time. But believe it or not, we don't hold that much influence. We really, really don't. He's getting time. He's got time. He has come into the job in a really, really luxurious position where he has actually got time to implement his tactics. I don't see them. I don't see the tactics. By the way, I've got some notes here. You have to excuse me if I keep on. I'm not avoiding eye contact with you. I'm looking down at my notes. Maybe these are his tactics. People keep saying, you've got to give him until the summer. It's not for me to give him. I've not given him the contract. It was the club that gave him the contract. Apparently, as I understand it, and I reported this at the time, David Sullivan wanted to give him a 6-month contract, and then if he did all right, he'd then get a longer job. And apparently, this was... Karen Brady really wanted this guy. I'm not saying anything different to what I said at the time. And actually, he ended up getting a 2.5-year contract. So he's got the time. There's no point saying it to me. He's got what he wanted. He got his contract. Personally, the longer it goes on, I think that the 6-month thing is looking more and more sensible. It really is. But I definitely believe he needs to be given a bit more time to rebuild the team. But the reason he needs more time to rebuild the team is he can't do it as quickly as other people. Vitor Pereira came in at Wolves, instant. I made the case about David Moyes. I know that's a silly one to make because he used to be with us. But David Moyes now got his coaching squad back together and he immediately got an immediate uplift from his players at Everton. There are others that have gone into clubs and got an immediate uplift. There are others that have gone into clubs and imposed their style. Maybe not the two best examples, but to say that West Ham don't have the players to play the style that maybe Graham Potter wants to play, I'm not so sure. If West Ham had hired, I'm not suggesting we do, if West Ham had hired Ange Postecoglou, or we'd have hired Marco Bielsa, is that his name, Bielsa? Immediately we'd have been playing differently. Immediately. He wouldn't have cared that these players, these so-called players, weren't particularly crafty on the ball or anything. He'd have just got them playing. He'd have insisted that they play his style of football. Maybe Potter is doing that. Maybe this is his style of football, though. That's the thing. I think that is and that's what's worrying me. I think this belief that somehow we'll get to next season and suddenly we'll start moving it around. I'll tell you now, if Bielsa had come into West Ham, he'd have had a defensive midfielder sat in front of a back four or something like that, and he'd have had Soler and Paqueta in the team, and we'd be playing more fluidly. He'd have them in the same team. That's what would be happening. Don't get me wrong, I still think there would be games where we were getting overrun because it does appear that almost every team has a really good midfielder. I watched and I saw Gomez play against West Ham, and I thought he'd be our best midfielder. Do you know what? Every team I see us play against, I think that. So I think we got problems in central midfield. I really do. Don't get me wrong. But I still think if he wanted to be able to attack more, he would be able to do so. There is a way of doing it. Well, Lopetegui showed it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting we should just go attack and leave things open at the back, but there's got to be a halfway house. In fact, there are going to be numerous managers who could provide the halfway house. But we're just not getting it at the moment. And it's... I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is 5 points, I think, between us and Wolves. I don't know that they'll overtake us. They look better. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's not nice to say it, but it looks like Vitor Pereira's doing a better job than Graham Potter. It really is as simple as that. We appear to have no energy. It wasn't just that West Ham got outdone. It wasn't just that it was my fault for suggesting that I'd like more attacking players. We weren't able to match them for energy. They bullied us. This is really, really basic stuff. We're getting outrun. Loads of our players are getting easily bypassed. And we don't seem to be playing a Premier League game. I've mentioned this example loads and loads of times before. When Alan Pardew came in at West Ham, he took one look at a team and he said, look, I quite like the way West Ham play. I just want us to do it a little bit quicker. I'd rather us attacking in sort of 5 or 6 passes. I just want us to play with more pace, more energy. And he did it. And I liked it because it was a really simple way of explaining what his ethos was. I don't feel we're anywhere close to doing that, and I'm worried what we are seeing. I'm not going to apologise for wanting Evan Ferguson to start in that game, because I thought it might meant that we got Bowen in his best position. I'm even more worried now because I'm not sure at the moment that Potter can play Bowen in his best position. He either doesn't know what Bowen's best position is, or he knows it and he's not doing it. Because actually, maybe the fact that he's wedded to 3 at the back means he just won't. But that's something else that other coaches do, right? They come in at a club and they are pragmatic. And Potter has been pragmatic. But one of the areas of pragmatism is you look at your best players and you try and get the best out of them. That's not happening. That's clearly not happening. I think most people would have conceded at the end of last season that Jarrod Bowen and Mohamed Kudus are our 2 best players. He's not looked capable of getting a tune out of either. And that's a worry, and that's a concern. And I'm just going to continue to articulate that. The very, very weird thing is there's one poster in particular who had said, when I said the thing about I'm going to start speaking my mind, I'm going to stop apologising in videos for my own opinion. He had said, "Good for you, mate. We're glad. That's what he said. Glad you're back. Glad you're back." He was on there yesterday criticising me for speaking my opinion. So I'm not the only one that's inconsistent here, right? I want to be clear. I want Potter to work out. I'm sick of changing managers. I'm absolutely sick of changing managers. I want him to work out, but I am worried. And people say, "Oh, don't rush to make a judgment." I'm not. I'm just commenting as I'm going along. And now I'm worried. I've not made the ultimate judgment on him. I don't have, honestly, we really don't have that much sway. And I would, by the way, I don't know if you can hear that. That's gunfire. Hold on, you hear it? Typically, it's stopped now. So I'm in the middle of 2 army bases. It's like a bunker. It's stopped now. That was gunfire anyway. But I'm not under fire. Well, I am, but only by people who think last night's loss was my fault. I just want him to get the best out of our attacking players. I just want to see a little bit of promise. And I understand the midfield needs an overhaul, but I don't think that excuses everything. I really, really don't. Because I expect a coach to have the answer. Somebody said, "Jesse, well, what's the answer then? You tell me the answer." It's not. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I'm just a guy sat between 2 army rangers trying to avoid gunfire. But I do expect Graham Potter to know. I do expect any coach, any top-level coach gets paid millions of years to be able to look at the team and think, "Okay, I'm going to get the best out of him, and this is going to be my tactic for doing it. And by the way, in the process of me doing it, I'm going to try and not ship loads and loads of goals." I would expect any manager to be able to do that. I believe it or not, I'm not anti-Potter. I didn't want him in the first place. When he came in, I was quite impressed by what he said. I think early on there looked to be some promise in the way that we were playing, but as I say, that's dissipated. I just think it's dissipated. And I've seen pretty much all of the players play better for West Ham than they're playing under Potter now. I am hopeful that Fulkrug coming in and looking better in the second half. I'm hoping that will continue. But we were in that second half, we were playing like a 4-2-3-1. If he was going to do that and he's going to play a striker and Bowen's going to be in the best position, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I really am. And particularly if he's going to play Paqueta and Soler on the pitch. In many respects, what he did in the second half disproves those who say he can't. He's got to play that other way because of the players. Well, clearly not. I'm not going to apologise for him being pleased to see Guilherme start. I didn't ask for him to start. I did, like it's easily proved. We do our build-up show. We do our preview. I gave my team in the preview. Ferguson was in it. Guilherme wasn't. But I'm not going to apologise for being pleased when I saw him on the team sheet. I think he's been mismanaged totally and utterly. I remember years ago say years ago. I remember Mauro Zarate. I used to really like him. And people say, oh man, he's greedy and this, that and the other. But the truth of the matter is, particularly when Allardyce was here, I was so craving some attacking play that I was all right with the greedy dribbler. It was something. It gave me something to enjoy. And I feel that's where I am now. And I'm concerned. And I started to really become concerned when I was corrected in my belief that next season it would get better. We'd start playing more expansive football. Was then people said, oh, actually, you might want to go and look at the stats. That's not really what Potter does. Then I looked. So now hey, look, I'm only going by what I've seen and what the data I've seen from his previous jobs, and now I'm worried. I'm pleased to see Fulkrug. I thought Fulkrug was our best player. Thought Paqueta played well. But I can't base too much on that because I read somebody saying today, oh, if we can just get Fulkrug fit, that's not his problem. Fulkrug getting match fit is not the problem. It's keeping him there. It's keeping him fit. If I, for a moment, thought Fulkrug was going to play all the remainder of the season and not get injured, I'd be delighted. But I can't be certain. For the same reason about Potter, I've got no stats to back it up. But he looks really good. And I want us to thrive, and I want us to do well. But I do wonder if we're pinning so much on this thing next season that may or may not happen. I do think we'll be better, and he'll get better with better players, but isn't that obvious? Wouldn't any manager be better with better players and getting his own players in? I think I'm worried because there are a number of managers, not just now, but historically, who have come in and not had their own players and got an uplift. And there you go. So, but anyway, there you go. It's not, what can I say? It was a bit odd reading, oh, it's your fault. The loss against Wolves, that's the same shit. Honestly, that is the same stuff. That's the same tactics that Potter's been serving up for the previous 9 games before that. And it's, yeah. But if I did have influence, then I'll probably be doing things a little bit differently against Bournemouth than... Anyway, I'm not going to suggest anything that he should do against Bournemouth, and I can't be blamed for that. But, yeah, overall, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. I am starting to get a little bit worried. He'll get next season. He will get next season. It'll have nothing to do with me. And irrespective, even if he continues to have one shot on target a game for the rest of the season and we continue to lose, he still gets next season. And that's the truth of the matter. And that makes him in quite a privileged position, not really a victim in my book.